Hello and welcome to 3 Minute Gaming. I'm Nathan, and today I'm going to tell you if this game's worth your time and bandwidth. Today's game is Metroid Prime Remastered, and it's been over 20 years since Metroid Prime released on the Nintendo GameCube, and now a fancy new remastered version is available on the Switch. Is this the definitive version of a classic game? Let's find out. Metroid Prime Remastered is a remake of the game that took Metroid into a first-person perspective. The story is the usual Metroid fare. Samus is on the planet of Talon, and the space pirates are basically mixing radioactive Baja Blast with Metroids to make Prime Metroids, and that's bad, so you gotta put a stop to that. The game's main loop should be familiar to anybody these days, as indie devs love Metroid games more than I love just keeping my videos below 4 minutes, so the channel name isn't a lie. Samus starts with a minimal number of powers, but finding upgrades throughout the world both expand your combat and traversal abilities. These include the traditional stuff like double jump, morph ball, grappling hook, and multiple beam weapons. You'll use these to both push forward into new areas, as well as finding more incremental upgrades, namely energy tanks and missile upgrades, in areas you've already visited. While Metroid Prime is in first person, it's more an exploration game than a shooter. The new dual stick controls greatly improve navigation and fighting, but the original lock-on system is here as well, which makes the combat much easier than most other FPS games. You'll mostly be exploring across half a dozen unique areas across Talon, often revisiting different positions of these same zones and discovering how they all interconnect. On this replay, something that really stood out to me was how well the game signposts where you're supposed to go next without directly telling you. Every time you get a new power-up, the game tends to pop you out near an elevator or a passageway that will naturally lead you to a location where you can use this new ability, often unlocking a new zone to continue through. If you do get stuck or the game thinks you've been dawdling too long, it'll give you a slight nudge in the right direction on your map, though not enough to hinder the satisfaction of exploration. This immaculate pacing is Prime's biggest strength, that and its excellent environment. Your suit has a scan mode that you'll be using often, which can either read lore, scan enemies for combat hints, or solve a myriad of puzzles. Scanning stuff is weirdly addicting and really helps flesh out the world. The big upgrade here compared to the GameCube version is its visuals and controls. The game has seen a significant facelift as well as a bump to 60 FPS, making it one of the best looking games on the Switch. The game also has multiple control methods, including the classic, the Joy-Con pointer from the trilogy on the Wii, and the dual stick, which is my favorite. And honestly, that's the gist. This is Metroid Prime, just with better controls, visuals, frame rate, and the same fantastic gameplay. So what did I like about Metroid Prime Remastered? Well, this game feels made for the dual stick system, as it enhances the experience so much I don't know if I can oversell it. I switched back to classic and even used the motion control one for a while, but man, that dual stick one really makes the game feel modern. Additionally, the changes they made graphically are fantastic. It looks really incredible on the Switch, the 60 FPS being the icing on the cake, and they did a really great job of having the improved visuals match the tone of the original game. And lastly, this game is still Metroid Prime, and I'm pleased to say it holds up. The way the levels guide you to your next objective is exceptional, the art direction and detail are second to none, and the music is permanently etched into my brain. When it comes to the bad, I do feel like some quality of life things have been omitted. Things such as the map not showing whether or not you've gathered all the collectibles in a certain area, or things like custom waypoints that could help guide you through the world, or a better checkpoint system on death. These are things fans have been asking for years, and it's unfortunate they didn't make it in. Additionally, the first-person platforming can become frustrating at times, mostly because you aren't always sure if you'll make a particular jump. The new controls actually do help quite a bit with this, but I did find some areas and platforming frustrating. And lastly, having to backtrack to get all those Chozo artifacts at the end of the game really brings the pacing to a crawl. It's arguably the one bad part in an almost completely fantastic game. As you know, rate games here on a 3-point scale, must play, maybe consider, don't bother. I absolutely think you should check Metroid Prime Remastered out. I'll admit I was a bit skeptical at this game's $40 price tag, but it only took a few minutes before Metroid Prime hooked me back into its loop, showing that it not only holds up, it still is better than the majority of Metroid clones out there. I can say without hesitation, Metroid Prime Remastered is the best version of a game that is already a masterpiece, and if you have a Switch, you should go get it. And that's all I have for you today. Thank you so much for watching. Have you played Metroid Prime Remastered? Are you going to pick it up? I had not played through Metroid Prime since 2005, and playing it now, I'm shocked how ahead of its time this game was. Let me know your thoughts in the comments, but regardless, make sure you go check this one out.